Have you ever had cash flow questions like this? Can I afford to hire that team member? What can I afford to pay myself this month? Does it make sense for me to invest in XYZ right now? And that could, maybe it's new software, maybe it's an AI tool or 3.3 coaching, for example. But too often our approach with cash flow is the hope and pray method. And it's usually like this. Boy, I sure hope I can afford to do what I just did with this money. We need a system around it. And in fact, two components at least when it comes to healthy cash flow management, which is a system to manage the cash flow, and you should be doing at least an annual forecast. Whether you're swimming in cash or you're really tight, either scenario, without a system to manage the cash and forecasting at least once a year, both sides of that equation have really heavy risk. I've seen businesses go out of business when they had healthy cash flow because they just weren't managing it. What happens is they get in the habit of spending it faster than it comes in, but because it comes in so fast, they don't realize the damage until it's too late, and they've had a lot of behaviors. Look at the US government and the wasteful spending that exists there, and push back anytime there's an effort to maybe get that more efficient. You don't want that to happen to your business. Regardless of whether you're swimming in cash or really tight, let's get at least some sort of system in place. My book goes into detail about that, so feel free to check it out. Information is in the link below. We have the 3.3 rule and we have the 3.3 system. And within the 3.3 system, we recommend the easiest, simplest, preferred method for managing cash flow is the Profit First system created by Mike Michalowicz. Now, the main action when it comes to the Profit First system is taking your money, and instead of having one pile of money, separating it out into the variety of different cash needs that you have. When revenue comes in, I am actively going to take that money. System recommends twice a month, at least twice a month. I'm going to take that money and I'm going to put it into these different bank accounts that have separate purposeful reasons. If I am looking to hire someone on my team, I could create a new bank account specifically for the new hire. And I'm going to pretend that that bank account is the new person I'm going to hire. Because what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to answer my question, can I afford to hire this team member? I feel like I have the need with the workflow, but I don't know if I can afford to hire them. So I pay money into this bank account as if they're the new hire. If I do that 3 months in a row, and I've been able to do that for 3 months in a row, then I know that I can afford a new hire. And the added benefit is that when I hire that new person, I've created a 3-month cushion in their salary in case things don't work out super well, because I also talk about this in the 3.3 system, which is in the book, but you want a system that gets that new hire up and running within 30 to 90 days. And when I say up and running, what I mean is they're producing enough revenue or saving you enough in expenses or time labor to justify what they're being paid. No one that I'm aware of has a system where the new hire is able to cover their salary on day one. There's a learning curve that you're investing into. And with this type of cash flow method that I'm describing, I've built myself a 3-month protection window in that investment into this new hire. Another example that I do personally, if I know I want to bonus my team members, I don't want to rely on when I feel like I'm hitting that moment, okay, it's time for a bonus. I don't want to hope that I have cash available to pay them. So I have a separate account for bonuses for my team members. And when revenue comes in twice a month, I take a small percentage of that revenue and I stick it into this bucket so that when the time comes around where I am issuing bonuses, I can look at that specific bank account and say like, oh, cool, I have this much money to bonus out. And usually I'm over saving. And so when we look at bonuses and what people have earned, I usually have enough. So I've never in this scenario like, oh, I really wish I could reward that team member, but I don't have the cash to do it. I've set aside the cash knowing that was my intention the whole time. Again, those are two specific strategies. The sky's the limit. Feel free to let me know what are some of your cash flow struggles, because I'd love to see if I can share with you how the Profit First system could actually probably help with some of that cash flow issues. I promise our businesses will be more productive the more clarity that we have around cash flow specifically. And again, the Profit First method, which we've built into the 3.3 system, is our preferred method. I've been doing it for more than a decade, and it's been a game changer for us when it comes to cash flow. And we've had bad months, but because we're managing our cash flow the right way, it works. In fact, here's a fun fact. We work with a lot of gym owners, and when COVID happened, every single gym owner that was a client of ours who was using Profit First before COVID happened was able to stay in business, which is a big deal because if you don't remember, the government forced gyms to close down. When your income relies on people physically coming in and using your equipment, kind of hard to make money when you're not allowed to even let people into your space. It's not a scenario where they're swimming in cash. You're just assuming, oh, wow, those guys must have had it easy. Like, it was still tough for sure, but they were able to weather the storm because they had this cash flow management system in place before it happened. So again, my book goes into more details on how to fix tight cash flow scenarios. Look, I didn't get into forecasting in this specific video, but if you would like to see me do a video on how to create a forecast, feel free to comment below. Thanks again for watching, and don't just have a great day, make it a great day.